Hey, this is George. This is Real Talk with George and Fraser. Fraser is actually logging in right now, so he will be here. But we actually have a very, very good show. And I know every time we say this, everybody's like, every time you guys say that, you guys always have a great show. We have great shows, we have great guests, and today is one of those days. I'm going to bring her right into the show. We have excuse me, not Mrs. Dr. Andrea Diese. Can you hear me? You can't hear me. Hold on 1 minute. Let me see something. All right. It might be your headset. Unplug your headset for a minute. Okay. You still can't hear me? Oh, you can hear me. We can't hear you. So log back out and log back in. Let's try that. Yes, you. Log back out. Just exit this studio broadcast and then come right back in. Thank you. Studio problems. As always, we don't control the internet. We just work in it. So she'll be logging back in, and we'll be waiting for Fraser to log back on. And hey, Fraser, how you doing?
What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. We had a little technical difficulty. Dr. Dicey will be calling back shortly. We couldn't hear her, so it's on her.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, there she go, partner bottom. Wait, so 10 I ain't late, right?
How are you?
Hi.
Oh, there we go. See, wait.
What's happening? Look at my hair. Oh my gosh. No one told me I needed a hard brush, my kids.
Doctor, welcome to the show. We appreciate you being here, taking time out for the day. Give everybody and our listeners a little bit of background about yourself.
Oh, thank you for having me. First of all, thank you. I'm so super excited. So my name is Dr. Andrea Diaz. I am president of American Management and Leadership by Design, and we are a multi-service management consulting company that specializes in helping women advance from the 5 to 6 and 7 figure business venture and position by helping them overcome imposter syndrome, helping them manage their intellectual assets and to dominate in their respective professions. So I am a leadership coach and a business strategist / egghead, as well as a wife, a mom, and a beast.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here I am.
Let's take those first pieces. I'm sorry, I've been mispronouncing your name. It's Diaz, not Dicey. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, no one ever gets it right. So I just tell everyone, call me Dr. Andrea. That's my father-in-law. So what can I say? My maiden name was Lambert, but for 18 years, I've been Diaz.
Okay, fair enough. So you said you put 3 points up there. The first one for women is you're helping women overcome,
imposter syndrome.
What is that?
So this is when and this happens a lot with high achievers. And so people who are known as high achievers or who always are striving for excellence and things like that, they never think they're good enough. They always think that they have to get another degree or another certification, and they struggle with perfectionism, and they won't, move the needle because, like a lot of women won't launch a business because they're like, you know what? Not every single thing is perfect. Not every single thing is in place. And they'll wait and they'll talk themselves out of opportunities and, procrastination, perfectionism, people pleasing. These are all things that keep people from advancing and moving the needle. And so it's not really just women that suffer with this, but I help women because they have years of psychology to overcome. And the reason why I say this is because, I tell women if you struggle with confidence or if you lack confidence, it's not your fault. Or, and let me explain why. Because from children, you're taught you want to be liked, right? Listen to the power of words. You don't want to outshine. You don't want to be braggadocious. You don't want to, so you're told all the things that you don't want to be. And so women suppress themselves and they go in a corner and then they think that, and so for people who want to do business, they haven't understood that you can be humble and gracious, but also demand your price points. And so they talk themselves out of things because they have a lack of worth. They have a lack of self-worth. They have a lack of monetary worth. They have, so all these things, and I tell people, I don't negotiate price. I don't this is my price point. This is what I know. And so there's a psychology behind it. It's not just about saying, oh, you need to become a leader. How do we help to groom you to become a leader? So and now here's the thing. Women in particular have been taught to seek the approval of somebody else. So you have to get the approval of your parent or parental unit, whoever's raising you, right? Then you're taught to seek the approval and guidance from your teacher, your professor, whatever it is, and then you go to work, then you're letting someone tell you your worth and value, whether I think that you deserve this raise, whether I think that you're good enough, or, you know, and it could just be my perception, because we all know that we have filters, right? And so we give away our power, and we say, well, you know, someone told me no. Well, who's that person to tell you no? So, so what happens, so after, from birth to like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, you've been taught to behave a certain way. Then you will go into the workforce and they say, well, how come you don't know? Well, how do they know? Because they've never been taught or exposed. Now, boys, on the other hand, they've been taught to go outside the expression, to go outside the box. And we justify their breaking out of the box because they're a boy. Girls were like, you have to be in this container and you want to be, you know, we put them in a box. But boys, you know, like, for example, I'll give you an example. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Okay, fine. All right. And, you know, my mother was visiting a couple of weeks ago, grandparents, that's another story. And my kids were screaming, right? But my mom says, my daughter's name is Gianna, she's not going to be a young lady. And I looked at her and I said, what does screaming have to do with being a young lady? Your grandson is screaming. Are you saying that he's not going to be a gentleman? And so understand the words that are being used and what you're teaching people about themselves, you know, about how they perceive themselves and how they value themselves and how they, so my daughter comes crying to me the other day, Aiden, whatever Aiden said to her. And I said, why are you listening to Aiden? Who is he? Do what you want to do.
Right.
Because I don't want her, and I listen, she better listen to me, yes. And she better listen to daddy. But what I'm saying is I don't want her just to hear the word no and assume, well, that's the end all, the be all. Just because you said no, my world is over. And so so I teach women to say, listen, I understand where it's coming from. And to make matters worse, on top of that, I come from a West Indian background. So I come from the background is that if you do well, they're going to suck up their teeth. If you don't do well, they're going to suck up their teeth. And so women in the West Indian, you know, oh, this, that. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. And so I am here to change the conversation, to change the perception, and to empower people. See, people say, oh, like use empowerment and stuff like that. But do you have the tools? Do you understand the psychology of why? Because you can have the answer, but if you don't understand why you're behaving this way, it doesn't matter what answer I tell you. If you don't understand the reasoning behind it. So I'm clearly very passionate about what I do. I believe that I've been put on this earth to help educate women, and also to have men teach women how to be leaders, because men are expected to be leaders, but women are not. They're expected to be leaders in their home, but not leaders outside of their home. So how do we change that dynamic? You know, I'm actually working. I have a company who's retained my services to help coach them with some very good company to help to help them with their services. And the young lady that found me, that she was very comfortable talking to me. When we got on the call with her superiors, every word was intentional. Like I could tell, like the body language, the way she was delivering her, like and she didn't want to say anything wrong. So because she, you know, and I'm like this talking to the guy. I'm like, can I give you some recommendations as to why you're doing that? And I'm just telling him, and we're connecting, but I could tell she's because she doesn't want to come across as, and I'm like, oh, I can already tell you have 5 issues right here. Without even blinking, I could tell you with some issues why you need leadership training, and not just leadership training, confidence coaching, self-worth, things like, you know, he's a person too, but you're so worried about saying the wrong thing. You understand what I mean? So yeah, there's a whole psychology. It's not just about telling someone what to do and making them feel better. They have to put actual, you know, I say you can't either have a healthy lifestyle and eat 1 piece of broccoli.
Right.
You know, stretch it out one time, touch your toes, and, you know, we're good. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, so anyway, you've got me in my feelings. George, Fraser, what questions do you have to me, and how can I support your platform even more?
Wow.
I got a lot of questions.
You always got a lot, though.
I always have
Get ready for it.
You know, because
I love it. I always have questions too, so I'm.
Well, I like what you're saying and how you're saying it, but I want to break this down into 2 parts just to see if we're on the same page. One, 1,000-foot view. Do you think that in this particular country, the United States, because I'm from West Africa, so I understand the West Indian part of it. I understand a lot of different things. I understand by my culture kids are supposed to be seen and not heard, and then women are the second tier, and then men are the kings, and this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't work in America for me. So, do you think American speaking, why, so to speak, because we've been raised like that, and it's even in our political structure? What does that mean? A couple election cycles ago, when Hillary Clinton was running, she couldn't do anything wrong. They even criticized her pantsuits.
Everything.
When she was trying to be assertive, talking the good fight, making legitimate points and facts, she was always criticized.
Right.
Her predecessor was a narcissistic liar. We all know. I mean, they even stopped counting how many lies the man said from the time he started office to the time that he finished, and he's still lying. And he can basically walk on water, despite the fact the man went to church and couldn't even know how to raise up the Bible right.
Hold it upside down.
Hold on. I didn't want to go there. I apologize, but I'm just making a mistake. He went in front of the church and couldn't even know how to raise the Bible upright. Okay, and he's still making hundreds of millions of dollars for everything that he's doing. So, America-wise, is this just inbred? Because
no. Let me explain why. I'm not saying that it's not. To some degree, it is systemic, and let me explain why Hillary Clinton got a raw deal. I have to tell you, I know exactly what happened with Hillary Clinton. She was too smart for her own good, because she is so cerebral. I don't know if you ever saw the documentary about her. I think it was on Hulu. I think it was. And not too long after the election, there was a documentary about her called Hillary on Hulu. And even I did not truly understand Hillary Clinton until I saw this documentary. And then I fell in love with her after this documentary, because what I realized is that she is so smart, it worked against her. Because what happened is that she's approaching something logically, as any person would do. And because she was a different gender, she was missing the emotional intelligence part of saying, not that she didn't have emotional intelligence, but the lack of emotional intelligence and stuff on the other person's side to talk. So this is what I tell women: you don't talk to customers the way you want to talk to them. You speak about their pain points. You have to speak their language. And what happened is that she wasn't speaking the language of a lot of people. She was speaking the language of educated, elevated people.
Right.
But the reality is that's not the whole country. And so the sad part is that reality TV, the down, dirty dog stuff, always does better than the news.
Right.
Because people want to be entertained. So I don't want to say it's inbred, but the reality is, I'll just get in trouble. We don't have that many bright people in the world. And so what happens when you hold the shiny apple and you do a little sparkle and they get distracted and they're doing the clap like this, you're like, because you know what I mean? And then you're just like, well, I got you. But Hillary Clinton was like, let's have an educated conversation. But she's talking to people who are like, and that's why it didn't work out. And so she didn't have the right approach. I'm not saying that she would have won, because if you looked at the documentary, no matter what she said, because here's the thing, people are very unforgiving, especially when it comes to women. For whatever reason, they're held to a different standard. A man could be like, my bad, and everyone's like, no problem. A woman could be like, my bad, and they're like, do you understand what I mean? And so she was constantly fighting an uphill. Like, I could see where one of her comments went sideways. And this is when Bill Clinton was president, right? She said something along the lines of, I can do X, Y, and Z, or I could bake cookies. You know what I mean? And so then they got the moms. I like being a stay-at-home mom and baking cookies. And now she made the stay-at-home moms mad, but she wasn't trying to ding stay-at-home moms. But I could understand if you're like, so what are you saying, that I'm not good enough? But that's not what she said. But because she said it and the way they portrayed it, it was misconstrued. And so they hated her ever since then. Why don't you smile more? But you don't tell a man to smile more. So there's certain things that, so you know what I do? I smile while I'm telling you off. And I blink.
Oh.
I ain't mad at that one.
I'm not mad at it at all. Oh, but anyway, I want to go back to question A now, because I had one and then I had two, but I have the A because I want to follow up with that when it came to it. I didn't mean to make this a political conversation. I actually wanted it to be a more business oriented conversation, but it's real talk.
Well, then you have to have me back.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. That being said, do you think that Vice President is falling into that same trap because she can't do any wrong? And I think, quite honestly, it's just the fact that it's race related more than intelligence and what she's able to bring to the table, so to speak. How do you see
Yes.
that going? Because I'm like, look, I feel like, sorry, hate to say it, Jackson, New Jersey. I live in a Republican district, by the way. But I feel like after what we just had, you know, Bozo the clown can become president, and they shouldn't have a right to say anything about it from what we've been through and what we're still going through at all. Anybody can become president. It's not, oh well, he said this or he said that. I mean, Obama don't have any baby mamas, don't even have any outside kids. This man has
But
cheated.
that's the thing, though. But here's the thing: they don't want to have it until. Here's the thing: when my mama always told me, you can't be wrong and strong. That's what my mom always raised me. You can't be wrong and strong.
Right.
But you don't. Here's the thing: if you're used to being in power and having the authority, why do you want to give it up? And so we've had several presidents in the past who have done nothing, not the paragons of virtue, but they've done nothing. Like you pull up the man, you try to call the man's birth certificate, and you have nothing. Then when Biden came into office, they're like, well, he hugged someone inappropriately. You don't think you'd have slayed him 8 years ago prior to that, or 12 years prior to go to that, if he really had done anything? Right. You understand what I mean? So for people who are threatened, you have people who like the status quo and people who want enlightenment. Hillary Clinton was like, I want enlightenment, and let's all talk, and we're not going to be kumbaya, but let's move the needle in the right direction. So if you're used to becoming that person who has been in power and authority, why do you want to give it up? Right. So you're going to make excuses. You're going to find reasons for fault. You're going to find a reason why I don't like it. For example, and it has to do with group mentality, group think, right? Power structure. Societal, up until George Floyd, you could have killed a black man in a second. That's before we had body cameras. You understand what I mean? You could have killed a black man. It would have been like, oh, that woman that killed, you got me started. That woman that killed Emmett Till, she lived her full life.
Right.
And then she's like, I didn't say anything, even to the day she died. So come on, we have European countries that have Angela Merkel, who before she retired was the most powerful woman in Germany, could wipe out everybody.
Right.
They're progressive enough to put a woman in there. And we still mad if you wear a pantsuit?
Yeah. Well,
okay. So that's the answer to that question. No more A, B, or C. Let's get to part 2 of that. When it comes to this environment, so to speak.
Let me ask you.
Hold on, phrase. I know. Okay.
I'm gonna add one more thing before you said that. One more thing before you said, George. I'm gonna help you out, George. I want to say too. You've got one more thing too. To hear it also made everybody mad too. You got to remember a lot of countries that suppress women. And they let women out. She gave a voice to them women. That's so now you have countries like China, Middle East, where women was so low till they couldn't even sell pee. A child had more say so to come on and say, Daddy, can I get a dollar biscuit? Or a dog come up and bite a hand. We're not gonna happen to a woman saying, you did wrong to me, you touched me inappropriately. I'm gonna say anything. Remember that woman who got touched inappropriately and she actually told somebody and almost got beat to death in a mob of men? Yeah, because she stood up to him.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what's happened. And so for people, and at the end of the day, regardless of gender, race, whatever, for those who are in control, never want to give up that control. But what they don't understand is that control, like power, and it's not only control, but it's power. But what people don't realize is that power is given; it is not taken. And so no one can ever really have power or dominion over you unless you allow them to. And so as a society, we have allowed this to continue regardless of race, gender, whatever. And so, so until people start, but things are changing, but until people start saying, like, why am I being persecuted or prosecuted because of this? Why am I? How come this or that? Until we start asking questions, number one, and number two, holding people accountable regardless of whatever the topic is, whatever. And if there's a lack of accountability, then nothing's ever going to change.
Well, I want to add on to that, or at least try to add some value to it, because I always felt like great ideals were great ideals, wherever it came from. There's no such thing as an American ideal or a German ideal. It's just a great ideal. And I felt like women being great organizers, and women think a little bit differently than men. And it's always, maybe just because I've been married for so long, it's always like, if my wife got a funny feeling about it, maybe I can just put the brakes on this.
Exactly.
Think this whole thing first before I come back, because she's seeing some things that I may not be picking up on. And it's the same thing when it comes to business. The more voices that you have in the room that are intelligent, then when I mean not intelligent, but see the whole scope. Because I can only see one thing, you can see one thing. You know what I mean? It just makes the entire team. Like I've always believed, you know, when you're building a team, you want to be the dumbest person in the room because you just get so much more. And it's not about, oh well, he's a woman, so she does the coffee. No, you can go get some coffee too. It's just who's bringing the best results to the team to make the team grow. You know what I mean? And I understand the old way of thinking, but then again, I still just don't get it because I'm just like, but no matter what you're doing, you're still stagnant, so to speak. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
you have
why?
to want change, though, George. That's the thing. You have to. At the end of the day, no matter what we think, no matter what we do, you have to want. You know, it was almost like people who are alcoholics, right, or having an addiction or whatever it is, right. As a caregiver or family member, you might want the best for them, but you can't do the work for them. They have to want it. That's the
Right.
same thing with change. People have to be sick enough to want change and then embrace it and then put the work. See, we talk, see, you know what's happened? We've become a society where we see the flash, the good and easy, the reels, the 2-minute Instagram, whatever it is. And they're showing you the best part of them, right? But they're not showing you the grind, the work, the late nights,
The B side.
so then we have a false sense of what it takes to succeed. Do you understand what I mean? The work that's required. Not only do we have a false sense of what it takes to succeed, we have a false sense of our value, because then we start doing the comparison game. Oh, well, they made it look so easy. Oh, I can never be that. Or well, who am I? You know, I met this woman. She found me on Clubhouse. That's where people find me sometimes. And she heard me speak, and she's having me go in front of her corporation. Her bosses, and I noticed this. Her bosses call me Dr. Diaz. She calls me Andrea. I don't know where she got this from.
Wow.
So I'm like, why are you calling? And your boss is calling me Dr. Diaz.
Right.
Exactly. We just met a couple weeks ago. So I don't know what makes you think that do I know you? Are we familiar? Are we? Do you understand what I mean? And so people will sabotage you. I'm not worried about it because I already sent the note that, you know, when I present from this point forward, everyone will either be calling me Dr. Oh, you don't have to worry about that, Dr. Andrea or Dr. Diaz, because I've earned it. Because if it was a man, you would have done it. So you clearly respect men, but you don't respect women. We got to talk about you.
Yeah.
Because you will sabotage other women.
Because that's happened to me too. What race was it? I'm just curious.
Latina.
Yeah, that's happened to me too. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes I got to send an email and be like, oh, I got letters behind my name. Okay. Don't get the sweatsuit and don't get the sneakers confused.
Yeah.
You know, I have an MBA. And then I get the reply back, the email back. Oh, I'm sorry, this, that, and the third. So, it's crazy. Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Figure that out.
No, that's what I tell people. It's certain how that I tell we get all the time. A certain time you walk in the room, somebody can tell what you are before you even say it. You don't have to say I'm a boss. I'm a this way. They can tell by your demeanor, how you walk, how you carry yourself. Oh wow, like me. I may have a beard or whatever. If I go out certain places, they will say, "Hey boss, hey, how you doing, sir? Hey, how you doing?" I don't have to demand that. I don't have to say, "Call me sir." I don't have to do that. There's some people that don't see me in years come in. Hey, how you doing, sir? Man, how you doing, sir? They will never say certain things. They will never call my name. They will never say. I don't know. One guy says, "What is your real name anyway?" He always called me Sergeant Major. He never called me by my name. Some people never call by my name. Then after that, now some bosses, what I love called title entitlement, where they have to feel the title gives them power in order to say, I'm a boss, or I'm your supervisor, or I'm the person in charge. They have to feel that way. And mindset help them. They say, go back to what we said, as growing up and overseeing things, saying, okay, I need to be a boss in order to be in charge. Or I need to be this. You go through their marriages that way. They run their businesses that way. And what you get? Lack of production from the employees, lack of respect from the employees.
That's right.
There you go, George. Hit it, George. Divorce. That's number one, divorce. So you lose everything. And people still don't realize that is not what you do. You're not entitled to anything. If you like it's saying you walk into a building, inside that building, you may be a boss. But once you walk through them doors, outside that door, what are you then?
That's right.
What are you then? So my thing, I want to be something better than outside them doors. I want to be just not confined to a box inside a door. I want to walk out the door and say, walk by, hey, how you doing, Dr. Fraser? Or how you doing, Dr. Andrea? How you doing? How you doing, Dr. George? Or how you doing, Dr. I mean, you want me to respect it beyond them doors.
Well, you know what I do, Fraser, is I always give respect. And the only reason why I give respect
That's
is because
That's it.
I expect respect. And, you
Exactly.
know, my demeanor is a little bit different because I'm kind of cut from a little different piece of cloth. So when I don't get that, you know, and it's happened to me time and time again, I've lost business deals because of it. Because when I lean in like this, they'd be like, oh, and then they back up. And it's not the fact that I'm not qualified. It's just that they understand that the next couple of words that come out have to be very, very, very careful because you don't got beside yourself. You know, and I'm not a
Exactly.
tough guy, but I just don't let anybody say anything to me just because you think you can. You know, there's still
You teach people how to treat you. That at the end of the day, you teach people how to treat you. That's literally, I don't care what you teach people how to treat. I don't have to worry about that because let me tell you something. I have walked into places where no one knows me. I walk in, no one knows who I am. I walk in the room and I will sit in the corner. Listen, I'm actually an introvert. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm an introvert. I like being by myself. I know it sounds like, but I like being by myself. I like the quiet because I have so much going on in my head. I need the quiet.
that's right.
I need the stillness, like all the, I lock myself in a bathroom away from my kids because I need it. You know what I mean? I need.
How did it work out for you? It never worked for me at all. It never worked for me.
I lock the door and listen. And I'm like, who are you? Who's your parent? I don't know who your parent is. Anyway. And so I need that quiet and I need that stillness. But my point is, when I walk into a room, I've had people say, you're intimidating. And I haven't said 2 words. I haven't looked. Listen, most times I'm in my own little world. I don't even realize that you're even there. Do you understand that? Because you think that you matter enough to me to even worry about whatever nonsense. This is what I know. Being someone who's over 40, this is what I know, okay? Because when you're younger, you think you have all the time in the world. Yeah. And then when you get to a certain age, you're like, you know what? Things are starting to ache a little bit. Maybe it's just not going to work out the way you thought, And then you realize that you have a finite amount of time. If you understand, no one's saying that, no one's calling you home tomorrow. No one's doing any of that stuff. But we just realize that we're not going to be here forever. And when you realize that at any given moment, especially since the pandemic, if you haven't realized this, if you realize that tomorrow is not promised, but you have today, I'm not going to worry about something I can't affect change on.
That's
but
right.
Something I can do, I'm going to spend my time on that. Things that add value and worth to me. And I tell people, value isn't always monetary.
That's right.
It's not. Value is not always monetary, clearly, because if your spirit connects, then your spirit connects, and then you're going to do great and wonderful things because what's already for you is for you, and what's already ordained. Because understand, you're going to walk by faith, not by sight. You think you on your plan, you're not.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
You're not. So when you realize that it's really not about you, and your ego is completely removed, all that other stuff is nonsense. Look, I really feel bad for people who think that way because you're obviously not enlightened.
Right.
Exactly.
So let's move on to the other part, business. What are you seeing post-COVID in business that I know your leadership, but what is the most pressing issue that you're seeing in business? Because I saw a study, it didn't really surprise me, that a lot of people are leaving their jobs now and starting their own businesses after COVID, either just not feeling valued, just, oh, there's other ways to make money, just don't want to drive anymore, just whatever it is.
Yep.
So let me give you this is the perfect, the same company I'm working with. This is a 3-figure billion-dollar company that I'm talking to next week, right? 3-figure billion-dollar company. I spoke to the deputy CIO of something company on Tuesday, and he says, I cannot retain women. They want women on their team, right? I cannot keep women. I can't, we go through the interview process. I have a search company and we just cannot retain this talent. So we want to have this discussion, blah, blah, blah. And I'm listening to him, and this is a 30-minute conversation that turned into 45 minutes, but I'm listening and I go, And I'm telling you, I can diagnose most problems in under 15 minutes if it's in my wheelhouse. I'm not saying in the world, but if it's in my area of study, I can, this is my area of study. And I said to him, I listened to him and I said, can I give you a recommendation? He's like, yeah. I said, the reason why you're not getting anyone is because you're asking the wrong questions. And it was almost like, huh? I'm like, yeah, as like your search firm is asking. And I really wanted to say the fact that your search firm hasn't even figured out the right questions to ask to match the people, and this is their job, they're taking your money.
Right.
Exactly.
I wanted to say that to him, but I didn't have enough time. I was like, but I'm going to talk to him next week. Be like, because you know what's happened? Everyone's been in their ivory, because understand, as I said, this is a 3-figure billion-dollar company, right?
Right.
Yeah.
They've been in their ivory tower for so long.
Yep.
Because what's happened is when the pandemic happened, companies downsized, right? They scaled back hard because they didn't know what was going on. And as opposed to saying, well, let's see if we transition, they were like, layoffs, right? You figure it out, blah, 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 whatever. So then after 2 years, because now historically, and it still is, companies are employment at will.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So meaning they can fire you at any point in time without really any type of real justification, unless it's sexual harassment, unless there are 3 things like, a few things under the HR umbrella they can't touch you with, disabilities, and, other than that, they just let you go. Right. Then what happened? People realized I don't have that security anymore.
Exactly.
Guess what? They don't really care about me. Guess what? I still got to pay my bills. Guess what? And this is what I tell people. Bet on you, because people say I'm gonna bet on me now, and I say bet on you in 22.
That's right.
Bet on you in 22, so you can be free in 23 and soar in 24. And the reason why I say this is because when you start a business, it doesn't pop off overnight. But if you put the work in and you bet on you and you do what you have to do, you're gonna reap the benefits. And then when you put the work in and you do the grind and you get and not just and I tell the people, you can't be in business without a plan. If you don't have a strategic plan for your business, you don't have a business, you have a hobby.
That's right.
If you can't tell me what activities and what engagements you have over the next 30, 60, 90 days, let alone 6, 12, and 18 months down the line, you do not have a business, you have a hobby. And so I tell people, you can't look at your business like a hobby. And so, anyway, the point is people are realizing that, maybe I could take a stab at this.
Right.
And there are more self-made millionaires than ever before. Because what people are saying is, as opposed to fitting into traditional bounds, I realize that I have a skill and a talent that I can use, and that's why I tell people, especially women, people are waiting on you to provide a service. And when you realize now, and you have to understand, virtual work now became more accepted than it was prior to the pandemic, right? And then when the pandemic started, now your kids are home if you have kids, or you're the caregiver and you have this person take that, you have all these things. So your support system's gone. Heaven forbid you went to go pee and your boss dinged you at that time. Are you not working? Are you not a team player? Are you not? So now you got the stress of your family, everyone being home, which it sounds great to have everyone home, but we know it's not great to have everybody home. Okay. At the same time. It sounds great. Now you got everybody home. You have to work. You got, forget daycare, because you didn't know if you were going to get COVID on Grubhub, your package delivery. You understand me? So everything had shut down. So you are now on an island by yourself. And so now when they want to come back, they're like, hey, I want you to come back, but you're not speaking my language. Exactly. Now that I know that I don't need you, hold up, ready? Because now you have called up. People went through a bad breakup. Do you understand that? People went through a bad breakup in 2020 and 2021. People went through bad breakups. Okay, people were like, oh, I miss you. Oh, I love you. Oh, and people went through bad breakups with their job but then when you realize, and after you're done with that, right, and you realize, what, I'm a pretty strong cookie. I'm a smart cookie. I got stuff. I could do this. Yep. And then we talk about The Matrix, like one of my favorite movies, The Matrix. Then they start seeing the code on the wall. And then Morpheus is like, they're like, what's happening to Morpheus? Morpheus is like, he's starting to believe. And so now you have all these people who are starting to believe in themselves, right? Who are like, you know what? I think I'm going to take a leap of faith. I think I'm going to do this. And this is why I tell people, come find me. Because there's a science behind business. See, listen, I've had clients who have double-digit social media followings. Wow. And had no conversion in sales. And I'm like, what are you doing? I had a little paltry 700 people and I was all right.
Right.
I'm like, what you doing? So, and I'm telling people, don't think the glitz and the glamour is what's going to make you popular. That's not business. That's just popularity. Exactly. How are you? Listen, it was just one woman was like, she said to me, I want you to help me increase my social media numbers. I said, okay, listen, I can give you a template or I can help you do it. We could talk about that price point, whatever. Yeah. But I said, but what happens? But what do I care about? I mean, I care about social media. But I was like, but what happens after you grow your numbers? What are you going to do? I said, how are you capturing these people? She says, I have a challenge, right? Like I have a challenge going on. And I was like, well, how are you capturing I said, are you capturing their information? No. How are you converting them? She had no, like it was like crickets. But you concerned about social media. And I'm looking at people like, but I don't understand why you so upset about if you're not converting anyone.
So true.
And this is why I talk about, like, you know, it's almost like the emperor's clothes. You know what I mean? You know, that fairy tale, everyone's like, ooh, he ain't wearing nothing. And you're like,
you should show the guy who wearing clothes. I wear it. I should love it. Like, bud, you naked. You literally naked.
No, you walking around in your drawers. Like, you know, like
exactly.
Too funny. So what did she say? Because a lot of people think quantity is quality, and it's not.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not. It's not. It is not. That is not it. And this is why, and you know what? Women are the worst people for investing in themselves. They will talk themselves out of putting money into their development. Yeah. They will spend money on food, entertainment, whatever the case may be, Netflix, nails done, hair done. But if you say you need $500 for your development, a man will be like, a woman will be like, I don't know. I need to ask. I need to.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Wait. Hold on. That's kind of inherent a little bit. So why?
No, listen, I'm married. I'm not saying take money out the pot. But what I'm saying is, like, if I went to I'm not saying ask like is a bad thing, but they're using it as an excuse not to say, I'm going to get back to you. They're making it seem like, well, you know, why are you now, if it's not a good family decision, I'm not telling you to do that.
Right.
But if he just went out and spent $500 on the Xbox, why are you not spending $500 to get your business launched and stuff like that? And then here's the thing. People want to do things for free. You can't set up your business for free. You can't get your EIN for free. And you better pay your me started, please.
Yeah.
You better pay your taxes. Uncle Sam want his money. He want you. And he want your money. You better.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right.
But I got a question for you too, though, because different minds. I noticed too that women in different places have different mindsets. Like you go to somewhere like certain West, like I'm going to go to West Africa somewhere. Some has mindset. They go, let's go. Then some has a mindset like, no, I don't feel like doing that. And they have a company sitting on the company right there. And the worst thing with it, you working the same thing your company's supposed to do. Like you doing customer service, but you're working for somebody doing customer service. How does that make any sense? You making this man a lot of money answering his phones, but you got the exact same company on the side can do the exact same thing. But when you actually mention it, I'll go back to what you said too. You go back and mention it, they talk this right out of it. No, but I don't have time to get people to work for me. I don't have time to put up with the number of
you will talk yourself out of, and that's it. But that is not even laziness. It's literally, I'm telling you, it's not laziness. It's literally about, do they feel that they deserve it and they're worthy for it? That's the underlying psychology. I mean, there is some laziness out there. I'm not talking about that. But some people, because they have that thing, well, is it me? Well, how can I do? Okay, and I'll give you a perfect example. I have, as you could tell, I have no problem about myself. I feel good about myself. Yay for me. Okay, great. And the people that I'm having a conference, and the people who I've asked to be in this conference, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, should you ask this person? This person has like 50,000 followers, and who are you to be like, hey, like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, but I asked them, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, Dr. Andrea, yeah, I'd be honored to. Oh my God, you talking to me?
Right. Oh, funny.
So I mean, so it can happen to all of us. I don't want to seem like, because it can happen to all of us. There's one person who I am courting, but I've sent my last communication, literally, who I'm trying to get talking about. Please, God, let this person talk at my conference. Worked with, he was coached by Magic Johnson. Worked with Usher, Drake, Puff Daddy, all these people. Not because, and I really resonate with this person as a good individual. Yeah. You know what I mean? But and just wrote a book, and I'm like, you should tell people about this book. I'm a geek. I'm like, oh my gosh, you should tell. I even have a little bit of ignorance in that, some people be like, I shouldn't talk to you. I don't really have that filter. I'll be like, who are you? Well, let's go hang out. Listen, I got the autograph of Margaret Thatcher when she was alive. That's how much I'm like, how you doing?
Right.
Don't play with me.
Wow.
Right.
So anyway, the point is that I if I had allowed myself the fear, and that's just natural fear, like, oh, should I do that? Oh, can I dare? Do you understand what I mean? People don't even want to dream.
Right.
Exactly.
They don't even want to dream because they're scared of that no. But no doesn't always mean no. No means next opportunity or not now. You don't know.
Right.
You don't know. Don't let that no stop you
Exactly.
from greatness. I mean, I want to, oh my gosh, I want to be like, just try. Michael Jordan said, I can accept failure. I can accept failure because everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. That's
right.
what Goat said this.
Yeah.
I can accept failure, but I can't accept not trying it.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah.
That's you. And another quote too, I grew up on too. No is like a pebble you drop in a lake. It wibbles and wibbles, wibbles. To guess what happened? It eventually hits something.
That's right.
It eventually hits something. You never know what it would hit, but it hit your opportunity, hit you things, knowledge you never thought you would ever retain, people you'll get a chance to meet. You know, so you drop many of them no pebbles that you probably can at lake. Bloop, 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 to get where you need to get to. And by the time you get there, guess what happened? All them no's becomes what?
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like when you just do your due and you don't get, you don't give up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's coming true. Like,
I know, right? Like,
wow. The funny thing is, it's just like anything else you want. Because I always say, I'll make 1,000 phone calls. I'm just looking for that one yes.
That's the thing. That one yes can sustain you for like a year, especially if it's a great yes that said, listen, I was this close. I need my husband, and I depend on my husband for this stuff. I need him to set up my ring light and get my stuff, my corner set up so I could do some more of my Instagram. I've been really like remiss in that area. Yeah. I'm telling you, I was just about ready to start breakdancing to be like, when you realize that and you're still in your first quarter of the year and you realize that your plan is going to be blown out the water in a good way.
Knocking it out the park.
I know, right? Yeah. I got this. It's done.
Absolutely.
We gotta go.
No, I don't gotta do anything else. That's right.
Like I'm just like I'm getting I'm not that kind of person, but I'm getting goosebumps now because I'm seeing these things and I don't want to get emotional, but I know it's nothing but God, because God's not going to put you somewhere where you're not supposed to be. And when you on your journey, because there are plenty of times, because my head is hard, and there are plenty of times I'm like, God, I know that I need to be patient and I'm on your time and not my time. And you're going to put me where you want to be. And then one day it happens and you're like, is today the day, Lord?
Like, right. Absolutely. Look, there's no doubt about it. You just got to be obedient, because I know for a fact that God will never give you something that'll destroy you. The devil will, but God won't. Even in my story, I tell Frazier, when Frazier knows this, so I'll just say it. I spent 10 years looking for funding and financing for real estate.
Yeah.
10 years. And I don't even know how this guy got my information, but he said, let me take a look at your profile. He said, George, you're 99% of the way there, but you just don't know this one thing. And he said, you don't know how credit works. And he said, you know how many people, he used to be an underwriter before he got sick for like 30 years and he had to stop the business entirely. He said, in all my years of underwriting, he said, you know how many people I've met with credit scores over 800? I said, no, sir. He said, you're number 5. Right? Wow. And literally within 3 months, I had a business line of credit for $1 million. Just like that.
But it's not just like that, because you know what? There was a lesson that you were supposed to learn. Yeah. And that's the thing, like people have to understand, like people look at failures that like, oh, I failed, but it was a lesson you were supposed to learn. Yep. So don't look at it like that was a bad thing, because once you learn that lesson, listen, unless there's something wrong, you're not going to repeat that lesson again. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to make that mistake again.
I wrote a book about
like, that will, huh?
I wrote a book about it. Absolutely. I wrote a book about
it. That's it. You make that as a lesson learned.
It can't be that simple. It can't be that easy. All the things that I didn't know, all the things that I had, and now it's just like somebody has to be able to pick this up and say, that was me too, So it's definitely. That
is true. That's your lessons. Like I said, I'm a hard head too, so I'm doing the hard head clan too. I'm hard head clan. That hard head clan too. Oh, don't do this. The our person tell us, you can never tell me something I can't do by myself.
That's right.
I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna do everything in my life to prove your ass wrong. Excuse my French. I'm gonna prove you wrong. And I've been doing it all my life, proving something wrong. Oh, you can't do this. I'm gonna tell you our story. Don't laugh at me. Okay? Don't laugh at me, okay? My college told me you can't get in no one college you apply for because it doesn't exist. without your SAT, without your SAT scores. You cannot do that. That's what she told me. She flat out told me you can't do it. And you know, back then I think they had a problem with bringing the SAT on time. So a lot of schools were like overlooking certain things, but yeah, we had certain things. So I applied to one school. Only one school I applied to. When I got my letter saying, "Thank you, sir, Mr. Fraser, you are happily accepted to."
That's right, Fred.
Walked my counselor and gave her a letter that says, "Here you go. You said I couldn't do it. Here it is, right in black and white."
That's
and
right.
Said, "Please send your XT score when they become available." Bam. And not only gave me a accepted letter, full ride scholarship.
That's right, Fred.
That's it. Listen, hold on. Now they're getting rid of the SATs. You heard that? They're thinking about getting rid of the SATs. How come? Listen, I think, okay, we're going to take it back. I think everyone should be playing dodgeball and walk it off. You get hit and you walk it off. You get your arm numb, you're like, all right. And you walk it off and you're like, okay. Like, what? I don't know. You're going to get me.
Exactly.
Look.
What you already told me. A test is nothing to prove but what you retain for a short period of time. And they try to prove they teach you something. That's what a test proves. It doesn't prove that you learn anything. It doesn't prove that you're smart. But what it does prove is that you stood enough time in one place and obtained information to pass that test. I can tell you right now, I know 20 people that took a test one time. I know you love it. I know you ready to judge the problem, but I asked some proof of this. I had to one time. We had a test, and I studied the day of the test. I never studied weeks. I never cramped myself. Like 3 months in advance. I never did that my whole entire life. I waited the same day of the test, and I studied the same day of the test. And I passed it. Now, here's my story. I waited 30 weeks in advance. I'm talking, bust my behind. I'm talking about I put crypto books in, coffee. I'm talking about killing it. Man, I was so mad after that test went over. I was pissed. 3 weeks of studying. Oh, man, I couldn't remember nothing. I couldn't remember a goddamn old thing but my name. I'm like, oh, damn. I'm misspelled that too. I'm like, God, yeah, I was so tired. My mind was so tired trying to.
Your mind was exhausted.
My mind did this. I'm taking a break, dog. I'm tired. Time out at the wrong time. Dude, we're gonna take a test. Time out. I'll catch you later. Tell me we schedule a test later. I mean, your mind was telling you to literally take a break. And I think that's what a lot of people do. Like they overthink a lot of things. Like George said, overthink things. Or you said, put a thinking out of a situation. You literally think about a test.
Well,
I literally think about a test.
As far as the SATs, not to cut you off, I think it's something different. Quite honestly.
Yeah, go ahead, George. Beat me up, George. Beat me up, George.
No, it's not about beating you up. You're absolutely right because you're both right. But I think that we all got smarter, and as we got smarter, our counterparts didn't get as smart. So all of a sudden, because you have to realize, I mean, I saw a statistic. I knew this. I thought it was lower.
Yeah.
Most people can only read at a 6th grade education level, so to speak. But now I read it's like 8th grade. So we're up by 2 years. Right. Yep. But as we got smarter, our counterparts didn't grow.
Right. But they're still in positions of power.
Exactly.
And that's what's threatening them. That's why the whole thing with the how come you wear pants because we can't actually have real conversations about what the real issues are. We're going to pick ancillary things and to divert because we actually can't have intelligent conversations about true issues and come to a meeting. Because here's the thing, you have to actually want change.
That's right.
Exactly.
You have to want change to actually have the conversation. And if you don't want that change, you'll never have that conversation.
That's right. That's right.
They have one election too. Do you want change? That's one election. What the whole election was? Time to make changes.
You know what? I'm going to say this, and then I know because I know that we are way well over time. When Hillary Clinton was running for office, and I remember that people just assumed she was going to win, right?
Yep.
And so I remember I had just given birth to my son, like not even like a week or two, whatever. And I had gotten the early voting registration, and my dad went with me. And I sat on the side, and he stood in line because I couldn't even stand at that point. You know what I mean? And he stood in lines until I can get to go vote. And I live in Maryland. My parents live in Delaware, so they even can't, so we're in 2 different states. Yeah. So, but voting was important to me. I stood there and I voted. Obviously, I voted for Hillary Clinton. She did not win, right? And I remember talking my husband after the election came through. My husband said, people are rioting after the Hillary Clinton election thing. And my first response was, oh, those are the people who didn't vote.
Right.
Yeah.
But my husband's like, really? I said, because if you voted, you did what you're not going to go out and riot. But now, because what happened is you have someone say, oh, she's going to win. And then we have like the ignorance of people that we do the, oh. And so people didn't go out and vote. Yeah. And so they're like, oh, well, the state won, but every vote counts. And so don't tell me that you're mad because she didn't win when I just gave birth and I voted. Okay. Right. And I remember I remember every step with my body feeling raw on the inside after giving birth and just standing there like, and I voted because I knew that it mattered.
Yeah,
exactly.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You know, we only have ourselves to blame when it comes to that. Really quick, what tips can you give a new business owner? Startup. I'm starting a business tomorrow.
If you're starting a business tomorrow, get a business coach and get a plan. But more importantly, because there are going to be people out there who will not talk to you unless they get paid. And I'm not mad at people. People need to get paid, fine. But as someone asking or looking for services, and I tell people, always ask this question: what is my return on investment?
That's right.
Exactly.
What is my return on investment? So if you're going to do this service for me, what am I supposed to do? You know how many people who I've worked with, they're like, oh, my other person didn't tell me this. Oh, listen, I'm about to blow up people's spot right now. And if I feel sharp pains in my body, I know where it's coming from. Okay. I'm about to blow up people's spot right now. Listen, when I talk to people and they're like, and people, I'm not mad with the hustle of sales, but this is what I've said. If someone says, I'm going to give you a 30-minute consultation, the intent is not really to solve your problem. The intent is to sell.
Right.
And I just want to make that clarification, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have 30 minutes just to hang out with you for a potential sale. That's not a good use of my time. Now, I do offer 15-minute clarity sessions because I don't need 15 minutes to solve your problem because it's in my wheelhouse. Right. I can hear a few things and I can already tell what your problem. I'm like, listen, if you want, and not everyone that takes that opportunity, and I don't offer it all the time because that's, but I say, not everyone that does that session with me becomes my client. And that's fine, because at the end of the day, you just need someone to do you a solid, and you just want to ask a question sometimes. I remember when I first started out, I had no one to ask. And when people were coming to me and they're like, hey, Andrea, I know you started a business. Do you have any questions for me? And you know what my response was? I don't know what I don't know. So whatever you want to tell me, I will be incredibly grateful for you to tell me, because I don't even know what questions to ask you because I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
Exactly. And
so always take the approach of, I don't know what I don't know. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you always listen twice as much as you talk, because if you're talking, you can't get the information. So always listen, ask what the return on investment is, and be like, do you have anyone that can give you a recommendation or a referral? Because a lot of people just think that, oh, well, you just said this is it and this is what I'm going to do. Ask someone who's been a client. Listen, I published a book. The publishing company that I use, I would never recommend. Because it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. I'm not trying to listen. It was a hot mess.
Right.
And then when this person dropped the ball, because I don't think this person knew who they were dealing with. Okay. They didn't know who they were dealing with. And so I said, I don't make excuses. He's like, oh, well, just tell him that your editor missed this. I was like, I don't make excuses. I don't need to look sloppy. Exactly. That's going to make me look worse.
Exactly.
And I said, and he's like, well, don't have imposter syndrome. I said, imposter syndrome has nothing to do that we missed this, and so, you understand what I mean?
Right.
See, other people would be like, oh, well, he told me. Look, bruh, I don't have imposter syndrome. You dropped the ball. You don't have the infrastructure in place. Now, you know what I ended the conversation with? You didn't do your homework on me.
Right.
Exactly.
You thought, hold up. As my girlfriend would say, you're not dealing with the wrong one. You're dealing with the right one.
That's right.
Because what you don't understand is the people that I know who are like, Andrea, you published a book. Do you recommend? I was like, not the person I used. Right. So now you've lost business because of your ratchetness. Right. So you don't have an opportunity. And you know what makes it worse? That I believe in Black. I support my people. So this is a Black-owned business. So this was Black-on-Black crime. I was like, nope.
Right.
A Black-on-Black crime. I like that one.
This is Black-on-Black crime. Nope.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
I recommended another woman who, by the way, had the credentials of Simon & Schuster, New York Times bestseller, this, that. And I was like, oh, my next book, I'm coming to you.
Right.
Exactly. Right. Oh, got one more thing for you. It's good more toward your passion, though. What tips can you give young females who trying to start business and escape the imposter syndrome, talking themselves out of doing what they want to do or their dreams.
Surround yourself with people who have done it.
That's right.
Because here's the thing, okay. Barbara Majeski said this. I love this woman. She said her mentor is Grant Cardone, right? And she said to Grant Cardone, I think I want to do X, Y, and Z, whatever she wanted to do, right? But people in her circle were telling her, no, get a job, get benefits, get this, get that. And his response was to her, well, have they done what you're trying to do? And she said, no. Well, then why are you asking them?
Right.
Do you hear what I'm saying? So you can have your friends and stuff like that, but if they haven't been there or done that, or they don't know someone who's done to show them the way, you're keeping yourself comfortable. And so if you're comfortable, you're doing the wrong thing. If you don't get that sick feeling in your stomach at least once a month, you're doing the wrong thing. If you don't get that feeling, you on a roller coaster, because we've all been on a roller coaster pre-pandemic at least once in our lives. And you know how you get before you get to the go, and and you're getting closer to the top. You're like, oh God, why am I on this thing? Who talked me on this thing? Why am I here? If you're not getting that feeling at least once a month or sometime in your business dealings, you're not pushing yourself hard enough.
Right.
You're not pushing yourself hard enough, and don't let that one no. So what? Someone said no. Bye. Have a good day. Wish you all the best. No problems. No harm, no foul. Listen, before I even got on the call with you, I was planning a conference with somebody. They told me that, we have to put a pin in the conference. And I've already done most of the work. I said, what? I said, okay. We're going to turn this into my conference since I've already done the work. Like, yeah, I'm not, like, you can't let something, because we plan, and especially as women, we are planners, a lot of us, right? And we make these plans, and we think, well, if things don't go according to plan, the world is over.
Exactly.
But how do you pivot?
Right.
How do you make lemonades out of lemon? You're going to get a lemon. The world's not going to say you're going to get a lemon. Exactly. Elon Musk got plenty of lemons, but he made lemonade, margarita, this, that, the other.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's still experiencing no's and disappointment today, as rich as he is. Do you understand what I mean? So how do you take that no as a like, oh man, this is going to stop me? Or do I take that no like, oh, you missed out on a heck of an opportunity, but it's okay. You're going to come back. See you later, boo. Yeah. Now, if you got some things to fix, you got to fix your stuff. You can't be like, oh, well, it's all your, you have to look at it holistically. Yeah. And I tell people, if, there's a common denominator, if you're the common denominator, then you might have to take a look at yourself, But if you're not the common denominator, that person is not for you. Absolutely. And but you have to fight. But this is what I talk about, the dodgeball. Listen, this is me on my soapbox now. Like I haven't been for the past hour. This is me on my soapbox. Where I think we're raising a society of entitlement to a certain degree. Because we want to make it easy for you. We want to listen. Do you know how many times I have yoked my son for leaving the hallway light on? I'm like, there's God's light. You can see in the house. Why are you putting on the hallway light?
The funny thing is I do the same thing to my daughter. When she goes to bed, she has to turn the light on. And I'm like, all the lights we got in the house, and you still turn
you got to turn this one on. Yeah, yeah.
Funny.
So I think that, I don't want to get, and this is what I always want to say, I don't want to give too much to my kids. You know what I mean? Because I want them to understand the value. But it's not so much giving them, it's what do you train them? Because they're going to learn about material possessions from you and how you value them and how you see them. Right. You understand what I mean? And so I'm not saying that you don't carry yourself, because we spent money on that. But I've told my husband, I've told my kids, I plan on being a gazillionaire.
Right.
And you know what I say? This is mommy and daddy's money.
Right.
Exactly.
You're not getting a penny. So you better figure out what you're going to do. Because I don't want you to sit back and relax and think, I'm going to get handed this stuff. Because here's the thing, if you're not hungry for, about it, if you're not hungry for it, you got to be hungry. And that's the thing about young people. You got to be hungry.
Appreciate it. If you're not hungry for it, you're not going to appreciate
it. Exactly.
And I told both my kids, I'm not raising no trust fund babies or no trust fund grandbabies. You're going to get a little taste, down payment for a car, apartment, you moving out of here, whatever it is. But all the other stuff, if I don't see what I need to see, I'm giving it to the fish. So that way know for a fact that this is real out here. I'll help you, but I'm not going to support you.
Exactly. Hey,
I'm not going to do it. because
but not only support, but here's the thing: if you raise them that they didn't want your support, be like, how are you going to make your money?
Exactly.
Right.
Listen, I'm seeing kids. I can't, like, I made this joke with my husband. Like, you see people, like little kids on YouTube, and they're just like opening up gifts. And my kids want to see other kids open up YouTube. And I'm like, I don't understand this.
Right.
And they're like, but these people are getting paid. So you could look at them open up a gift and be like, look at my toy. I was like, we doing this all wrong. Right. And I'm going to raise my kids to be entrepreneurs, because I don't care if you want to be an artist, a ballerina. I don't care what you want to be, but you're going to own the building.
Right.
You're going to own. Do you understand what I mean? So it's not about, you can do it, but there's always a business behind everything.
Exactly.
And whatever that business is, you need to be, come on now, let's talk money.
Wait, exactly. Why you coach? Why you the coach? I tell the kid the same thing. If you don't think, man, use your talent to make what you want to make out of life.
That's right.
You don't have to. I'm not saying go to college, go NFL. No, you get an opportunity to go to school with somebody on somebody else's pocket. That don't happen very often.
That's right.
Does not happen. I used to be all the time, don't get red shirt. Red shirt is sin. No, what red shirt does, get you a master's degree.
That's
a
right.
red shirt gets you a master's degree for free. Okay.
Wait, can I tell you a joke? And this is the society we live in. Okay, and we're gonna end it here. This is the society we live in. Is that things have become so glorified, right? Yeah. Because, okay, I was born and raised in New York. I'm first generation here, whatever. I think everyone who come from the West Indies either go to New York or Miami or Canada or something. Yeah. You know that you got like your hubs, right? Fine. And so we just happened to come in New York, and we just stayed in New York. And I see these kids who grew up in suburbia with the pants, you know what I mean? With the long pants down and the hat and stuff like that, who are living in suburbia, who are emulating this gangster lifestyle, but which makes me laugh, because I knew a young man who unfortunately went to jail because he was mouthing off, whatever. But he talking all this stuff like, yeah, so-and-so, don't come over here. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know you grew up in suburbia. I'm the one that grew up in Brooklyn. I could take you out. So I don't even understand why you trying to pretend like you see something on TV and I'm from Brooklyn, like I could survive. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Right.
How are you going to find your way out? Like,
no doubt about it. Well, listen, we definitely are going to have you on the show again. We want to talk to you more about your seminar and your speech that you have coming up.
Exactly.
Yes, and I have an event coming up, and I can't wait. And I just want to say thank you for this platform. Thank you for this opportunity. And what drives me is educating my people. Okay, exactly. Let's educate each other. Let's have honest conversations, and let's not make excuses for bad behavior.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So we definitely would like to help you promote your event as well too. So just let us know so we can blast it on our social medias as well.
Most definitely.
Go ahead, Fraser.
Oh, here's my favorite speech. I tell everybody, friend. Welcome to the George and Fraser family. You're family now.
Thank you.
Our family.
Definitely appreciate you.
Hey, do the dance. Do the family dance. Let's do the family dance. Let's do the family dance.
Y'all turn on yourselves now. I'm not happy.
Come on, George. Get it, George. Get it, George.
Too funny. No doubt.
Running man. Okay.
Definitely appreciate you. Love to have you on again.
Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate you. Keep fighting the good fight, making that change, and thank you for affecting the lives of future generations. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you so much for helping us spread that and spread the joy and knowledge. Thank you.
Right. Peace.
Peace. I love it, George.
Yeah, man. I told y'all we got a banger. Y'all thought I was joking.
Oh, man.
We got a banger. Hey, this is George.
Hey, this is Fraser.
And that was Real Talk with George and Fraser. Peace.
Peace. Catch all sorts of platforms. Peace.